And today we're going to be talking about all kinds of things. We're going to be talking about the animals, but also humans. Humans are a kind of animal, and we don't think that anyone should be abused. Do you guys see what's written on here? Do you see what it says here? Hi, everybody on YouTube. Thanks for being here. Do you guys understand what this says here? Forced circumcision of baby boys that's abusive. Hey, thank you, Diana. Thank you, inspiration. Guys, Diana's here putting all this confetti on the screen. Always such a wonderful supporter. Thanks, Diana. Feel free to come in and read a card if you want to. I have quite a few cards here. And everybody here on YouTube, thanks to you guys also for being here. I'm just going to make sure that everything is okay. Wow, that's quite the party, Diana. Ooh. Okay, I appreciate you, Diana. You are so sweet all the time. Let me see what I can do over here. Diana, you're going crazy. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much, Diana, for all of that. I really appreciate you. All right, let me just go over here for a second, guys. I have to go to content. I have to go to live. Then I have to go to choose video. I don't see my live stream here yet. This is so strange. Hey guys, thank you for being here. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. Thank you for sharing the channel. I am Miss Katie, That Vegan Teacher, and today we are going to be talking about this, what it says here on here. Can you guys all read that over on YouTube? See what it says here? Forced circumcision of baby boys it's abusive, and it should be illegal. It should be illegal. That's right. Guys, give me 1 second here to fix something, all right? I have a little problem here. Accidentally, I think I put something in here that I should probably not have up. Let me just see. Let's see here. Oh, I can't tell if it's going or not. Anyway, hey, somebody says that you love God. Hey, Kimber, you love God. Awesome. You can love God. I don't like God. I think God is either drunk, stoned, lazy, stupid, or dead. God never helped the animals much. He's certainly not helping these little baby boys who are being forced to undergo this procedure. This is terrible. This should be illegal. If anybody has undergone this procedure and wants to talk about it, you are welcome to. You are welcome to come and talk about it, but most of you were probably not even awake at the time. You were awake at the time, but you're not aware of what was going on. So what happens in this procedure is that the baby is tied up and the doctor removes a part of the baby. And this is an example of what happens here. So this is not okay for us to do to any animals, and humans are animals. Babies do not consent to this. It says here, circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. Forced circumcision is barbaric genital mutilation. It's the amputation of healthy, sensitive genital tissue from a child who cannot resist or escape. That is abusive. Thanks everyone for being here. Thanks for sharing. Hello, Epictarians. I hope I got your name right, or Therian. Thank you very much, all of you guys. Thanks over here on TikTok also for being here. Let me just do a quick thing, a little quick check again here. We have got to go to content, got to go to the live tab, got to go to choose video. I don't know, I seem to be having problems here. I'm not sure why I can't seem to find this video here. I'm sorry guys on YouTube. Thanks though for being here. If you guys want to put in a super chat, if you have something important to say, you're welcome to say it. You guys over here, let's get Rin in to talk for a little bit. Hello, Rin.
Hi.
Welcome to a live stream. Are you over 18?
Yes.
Okay, cool. That's great. You have to be over 18 to come in. Tell us what you know about veganism so far.
It's harmful to the animals when you eat meat and stuff because they get harmed and they get killed and stuff.
Okay. Are you sure you're over 18? Because you're saying and stuff quite a lot.
Yes.
Yeah? How old are you?
I'm 18.
Okay. Thank you for coming in. But really, today we're going to try harder to make sure that everybody is over 18. Guys, double tap on the screen. Do not lie to me because we are talking about some really important subjects. And also, you have to be over 18 to come in on TikTok Live. Okay? It's just the rules. It's not me that's making up the rules. It just is the rules. Give me 1 second here to also click a couple of buttons on here. We have this here, and I'm going to put this to 1 minute. There we go. Thanks, guys, for being here. If you want to write a comment, you are welcome to. If you have something to say about this subject, definitely write it down. You guys on YouTube too, all right? So if you just came in late, here's what we're talking about. This is it. Circumcision is abusive, and it should be illegal because children, babies, do not consent to this. Just the same as the animals don't consent to you cutting off their wings or their heads or chopping off their tails or doing anything like this to them. It is not okay to do this to humans. Now, humans are another kind of animal. So, forced circumcision is barbaric, and it is genital mutilation. It's the amputation of healthy, sensitive genital tissue from a child who cannot resist or escape. And these children often grow up very angry because they have had something removed from them. And they never got the consent, the doctors never got the consent of the baby. And the parents, mom and dad, should not be allowed to tell a doctor, hey, go ahead and cut off this perfectly fine and healthy part of my son's body. That's fucked up. When you think about it, it's really messed up. Now in England, hardly anybody is circumcised. In Italy also. But in the United States and in some religions, this is still done. And I'm here to speak out and to say that this should be illegal. This should not be okay. It should, and people who contribute to this, doctors who pin down babies and do this, should be in jail. So if you guys want to talk about it, you're welcome to come in. All right, let's get the next person here. Remember, guys, to double tap on the screen. Make sure you share this with everybody. I know it's a difficult topic, and that's why TikTok is going and YouTube are going to be lowering the amount of people who can see this. But that's okay. I'm just here for the hour to speak my truth, to speak on behalf of the victims. Hi, Kyle.
Hi, Miss Katie.
Hi, Kai. All right, what do you think about this card?
I think this is absolutely disgusting and filthy behavior. No one should be doing this.
Mm-hmm. Now, yeah, you sound like you're British. Is that right?
No, I'm actually Australian.
Oh, Australian. So, what would you say? Do most Australian boys undergo this or not?
I would say not a lot of people do.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard of it a lot.
Okay.
But I see it more and more in the media that people are deciding to circumcise their babies, which is absolutely filthy.
What do you mean there? What do you mean in the media you're seeing it?
So, there's a lot of new mothers that have been posting about getting their babies circumcised from birth.
Do you know that some babies actually die from this?
Yeah,
they can sometimes
okay.
They go into shock, they bleed to death. It's extremely traumatic. Now, I as a nurse saw this being done. I saw it when I was 16 years old in nursing school. And I knew it in my gut. I knew it as much as I could know anything, that I was watching abuse. And I was so stunned, I didn't know what to do. I felt like screaming. I felt like grabbing the baby and rescuing the baby. But everybody around me, including my teacher and the doctor, were just acting like this is somehow normal, and it's not. It's really awful. So I'm here to speak out against this. What about you guys are saying? What are you guys saying here over on, let's see what you're saying here on my YouTube channel. Some people are saying the skin is useless. No, it's not useless. There are hundreds of sensitive nerve endings there, and it belongs to the baby, regardless of what you think. Now, the most ridiculous excuse that I've ever heard is that people said, well, let's say the dad is circumcised because he was abused as a child. And then what happens is then it's time for them to have a baby. They have a boy, and the dad says, well, I think that our son should look like me. And so, since I have it done, we should do it to our son too, which is so messed up on so many levels. It's like saying your son is born bald and therefore you should shave your head to look like your son. How does that make any sense? This is not okay. Are you ready to read a card?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess you already read the first one. I'm going to let maybe somebody else read this one, but tell me what you're doing right now to help animals, whether they are human animals or other animals.
Well, I was actually on your last live talking about how I made the change from being vegetarian to vegan.
Okay, that's great. I'm very happy that you did that because being vegetarian means that you are hurting the animals still, right?
Yes,
Right.
that's why I decided to make the change and stand up for the animals.
That's great. So let's read just the bottom part here. What do vegans do? Vegans do their best
Not to wear leather, fur, wool, or silk, and are against zoos, circuses, rodeos, animal testing, and any other industry that exploits or abuses animals.
Excellent. That's right. So vegans are against the exploitation of anyone, the utilization of anyone, and we don't believe that it is okay to steal the body parts of innocent victims. Let's go back again to our topic today, which is circumcision. Now, isn't it interesting that we only have 141 people here on TikTok? Don't you find that fascinating? Normally, there's about 900 people. So TikTok is limiting this. TikTok is thinking, you know, maybe we won't let people talk about this. But that's what's so fucked up, because the important issues need to be talked about publicly. Well, how much do we have over here? Here we have 574 on YouTube, so I guess they haven't made the same decision. But guys on YouTube, here you go. Do not do this. If you are a pregnant mother right now, do not do this to your child. If you are a father or about to be a dad, even if this has happened to you, think about it logically. Is it okay really to do this to a child? Now, I saw this tongue and the baby was absolutely screaming his head off. In fact, he was screaming so much that at one point he stopped breathing. He was holding his breath so much in absolute and complete shock. This new baby boy was born into the arms of his mother with a bundle of blankets around, gently breastfeeding. Welcome to the new world. Quiet, peaceful music. And then the doctors come, take away the baby. When I saw it done, here's what happened. As a nurse, I'll tell you exactly what I saw. Remember, I was 16 years old. This is at Lakeshore General Hospital in Pointe Claire on the island of Montreal in Quebec, Canada. So they took this baby. I was a nursing student. Took the baby and they took out this big plastic tray. Well, big. I mean, it was about this big. A plastic tray. It was beige. They took off the baby's clothes. So the baby, who's all, was all snuggly and warm with his mom, the baby was taken away from the mom because, of course, God forbid the mothers see what actually happens. Because if they saw what happened, they would rescue their babies. They would freak out. So the baby was strapped down, arms into the holds and the legs into the hole with Velcro on the arms and Velcro on the legs. I mean, like a torture position. Now, what they do is they say that they're going to give the baby some sort of medication so the baby doesn't feel pain. But here's what happens. The doctor put the cream around it and said, and they're supposed to wait for the cream to take effect. And the doctor's like, I don't have time. What do you mean you don't have time? So then the doctor takes the baby, and this is actually extremely painful. When you do this, it is like taking a knife and shoving it underneath somebody's fingernail and starting to pull away. This is not something that is retracting easily. In fact, it should not be retracted at all until the baby himself is ready for that to happen, which happens later, several years later. So they cut this off, and it is a form of child abuse. And then what do they do with this part? Well, people often wonder whether they are using the skin for other scientific projects or to use on other people. I'm not going to get into that right now. But all this to say that if you have experienced this, I'm very sorry if this is the first time you're hearing about this. Maybe you never thought about it before. A lot of men will say, oh, it's fine. But the reason they say that is the same reason that they say it's fine when they have a tattoo that they actually hate, because they know they can't really get rid of it. Grown men are growing up and are actually starting to sue their parents. All right, the visibility has been restricted on this over here on TikTok. It just said right now. So we're at 144 viewers. So unfortunately, I'm not able to talk about this on TikTok. It's restricted. So the reason that they restricted it Even though I said to TikTok, hey, let's make this video for 18 and over, they still restrict it. Why would they not want the average person to hear the truth? Ask yourself that question. The same reason that they don't want us to show you what happens in the slaughterhouses. Anyway, thank you very much for being here. I think what I'm going to do, because this has been restricted on TikTok, is I'm going to turn off TikTok and I'm only going to focus on YouTube. So if anybody wants to come and see me on YouTube, I'll be over there. All right? Sorry about that, guys.
Have a good morning.
Thank you.
And
I'll be back.
Just so you know as well, I have sent you a message hoping that we can probably be friends and talk about veganism together.
Okay, thank you very much for that. Okay. All right, guys, over here on my YouTube channel, I think I sort of pushed the button a little bit too early there, but here's what's happening. So we're going to go over this with just us. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. Forced circumcision is barbaric genital mutilation. It's the amputation of healthy, sensitive genital tissue from a child who cannot resist or escape. Let's read the next card. Normally I get people on my YouTube channel, TikTok channel to read these, but we're going to get you guys to read these. We're going to read out loud with me. It's good practice. Thanks everybody for being here. Thank you to who else is here? Audrey. Audrey says it's traumatizing. It is, Audrey. You're right. It is traumatizing what happens, but people need to know. Now every time you hear about circumcision, you will say to yourself, that's not a good thing. And it should be illegal. And religion is not an excuse to do this. Religion is not an excuse to hurt anyone, to cut off their body parts. If your religion tells you that they think it's okay to do this, it's time for you to change religions. If you are a woman who is about to have a baby and your husband says he wants the boy to be circumcised, it's time for you to put your foot down and say, no fucking way are you touching my perfectly formed baby boy. That's what a mother's job is. And a father's job is absolutely to say no to circumcision. Father's job is to protect his son. This is the very first job that you have, fathers out there. Reason number 1. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. Oh, hold on, I have a super chat here. Let's see what this person says. Please report the live stream. There's minors watching. Okay, well, thank you very much for your comment. What we'll do is we'll report you. Okay, you're gone now. Okay, it's absolutely, whoops, hold on a second here. Yeah, you are gone. It is absolutely perfectly normal for minors to know what goes on. It is okay and right for children to know what happens. If they are eating the body parts of animals, they should know where those body parts came from. If a child right now, for example, a little boy, is looking down at himself and wondering, why do I have something missing from me? And Johnny over there has something different. The boy has a right to know what happened to him. And he has a right to sue his parents. That's right. Because he had a right to keep his body part. So I'm sticking up for the innocent here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you very much, everybody, for being here. If you're not into this subject, put your finger on the screen and move away. You're free to leave. All right, let's keep going and read this. So, circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. Reason number 1. Circumcision is genital mutilation. It's the amputation of healthy, sensitive genital tissue from a child who cannot resist or escape. Let's look at that again. This is what's done to these baby boys without consent. Now, all you people are always talking about consent, which is good. We should have to consent before someone touches us. But if somebody comes at us with a knife and we didn't consent to that, just because we are little, just because we are young, just because we are a baby and we cannot fight back, these babies are screaming. That's their way of telling you, get the fuck away from me. Now, there is an amazing organization called Blood-Stained Men that you can look up right now. Open another tab if you want to. On your Facebook, if you want. It's called Blood-Stained Men and Their Friends. And this group of people is speaking out against this. They are extremely angry that this was done to them as children, and they are fighting back. Also, if you want to see a movie on this, you can watch a documentary called American Circumcision. Now, I can see how many of you guys are triggered. You really hate this topic, don't you? Yeah, you really hate it because you know that this was done to you. And that means that your parents abused you. And the thought of that is extremely difficult for us. But this should never be done to a perfectly healthy baby boy. Now, let's just say that for some reason your son or your baby was born, and for some reason the hole was on the side. Okay, let's say there was a problem and the baby couldn't pee properly. That's different. That's completely different. Because in that case, then we have a situation where the baby is, the operation needs to be done to protect the baby. Thank you, by the way, everyone who just shared the live stream. Thank you to the people who tapped like on here. If you are for the rights of the individual, make sure you share this with somebody. Make sure you share this live stream with anybody who has been circumcised. Make sure you share this with any moms who are pregnant right now and about to have a baby and discussing this issue. I know that there are some of you out there right now. Let's continue to read reason number 1. So you guys can read along. A lot of people, apparently half of Americans are reading at a grade 6 level. Isn't that mind-blowing? Half of American adults. So that's why we're going to read. That's why I make these cards so you guys can read along. Now we're here. Circumcision is genital mutilation. It's the amputation of healthy, sensitive genital tissue from a child who cannot resist or escape. Let's keep reading. If this were done in any other body part, we'd call it what it is, child abuse. This is why more and more boys are growing up to sue their parents and doctors for having done this barbaric thing to them. Just as it's wrong to pin down baby boys to cut them without consent, it's also wrong to pin down animals and cut them. Being vegan means not exploiting anyone. That's the correlation here. Let's go to the next card. First of all, so in case you guys are wondering, I ended my TikTok live stream because TikTok wanted to restrict it. So I figured I'm not even going to bother with them on this topic. You guys are here. Thanks, by the way, having an open mind. Thank you for tapping on the screen. And thank you. I noticed before that Matilda shared the live stream. Thank you, Matilda. And if I look over here, I can, on my computer, I can also see that Jeremy shared the live stream, and so did Sylvia. So thank you guys for that. Let's go over here now to reason number 2. Let me just see if I'm missing anything here. Okay, Kirkbo writes to stop. So Kirkbo, you can just leave. By the way, you have a finger that you are in charge of. Okay, unlike your private part, which you may not have been in charge of when you were little. Your parents might have taken it and cut part of it off. But right now you're an adult and you have a finger. You don't have to stay here. You can leave if you don't like the topic, if you can't handle the truth. This is for people who need to know the truth, who have a craving to learn the truth. Let's look at this. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. Reason number 2. The foreskin has purpose just as eyelids and fingertips. It protects, lubricates, and enhances pleasure later in life. Cutting off a baby's foreskin without medical need is violence. Anyone who pays for or participates in doing this should be sent to prison. Just as it's wrong to pin down baby boys to cut them without consent, it's also wrong to pin down animals and cut them. Being vegan means not exploiting anyone. There we go. Let's go and swing right back around again to the beginning. For those of you who are just joining, thank you. I'm Miss Katie. I'm that vegan teacher. I defend the innocent. I defend innocent animals, and I defend innocent baby boys. Now, many of you are against female genital mutilation. Everyone speaks out about that. how in some religions they sew up the girl so that she cannot have sex at a young age. They cut off her clit. It's pretty horrific what they do. You've seen the videos, some of you, and when I first saw it, I was shocked beyond belief. That was many years ago. But what we do to baby boys in our society is just as bad, and it should be illegal as well. So ask yourself, why is it okay to do this to the little boys? How can this be okay when having the foreskin is protective for them, and it is simply another body part of theirs, just like you wouldn't let anybody just walk up to your baby boy and just cut off his little earlobes there. Saw somebody write here, oh, but the foreskin isn't necessary. First of all, yes, it is necessary, because when your boy later in life wants to engage in sexual relations, he should have a right to have his whole body intact. Guys, I want you all to tag your friends who are pregnant right now. I want you to tag every boy that you know of right now. Share this with them, and we're going to have the discussion. Now, here's what's going to happen, though. Most boys will deny that. They'll say, oh, it's fine. Everything's fine. But they don't remember being traumatized. Sexual assault to little babies is remembered in their body. It is remembered in the subconscious. To pin down a baby boy with Velcro straps on the arms and on the legs, and then to rip off his diaper, and then to go at him with a knife is horrific abuse. And anyone who engages in this should be in jail. Doctors who do this should be in jail. Let's keep going. Just want to read something here. Okay, a bunch of you guys, your comments are being held because you're obviously not writing anything that's productive, not writing anything helpful. Let's see what else there is. Okay, so Sonia writes, what the hell? So Sonia, your comment wasn't really helpful, just to say what the hell. Why don't you write something that is helpful? Oh, I guess there was a super chat that I missed. Sorry about that. Thank you for the super chat, whoever put it in. Is eating jelly vegan? Well, gelatin is not vegan because gelatin comes from the bones and the ligaments and the skin, the tendons of baby pigs. So it's mushed down and turned into gelatin. And then they make gummy bears out of it. So every time you're eating a gummy bear, unless it's vegan, that comes from the abuse of 6-month-old baby pigs. Hope I answered your question. See what else is here. Gabby says, I agree with you. By the way, what's your name? Hi, Gabby. Thanks for being here. Thank you for subscribing, everybody. And thank you for sharing this with all of the men that you know. Share this with all of the parents or the parents-to-be that you know. My name is Miss Katie, that vegan teacher. Miss Katie is spelled M-I-S-S and Katie is K-A-D-I-E. That's my name. Thanks for asking. See what else we have here. The chat's going slow enough so I can read some of it, but if I happen to miss you, make sure you put a super chat on the screen. For sure it will be frozen because I can't see all of you. Somebody says, this is true. Thank you for agreeing with me. Thank you guys for being kind. Now remember, if you know that this is abusive towards baby boys, then let's use the logic. Let's use the same thinking to apply this to the animals in our lives. If you think this is wrong, then you also know it is wrong to cut off the wings of baby chicks. Chickens are killed at 6 weeks old, 6 or 7 weeks old, that end up in Kentucky Fried Chicken. It's wrong to cut them to pieces. It is wrong to cut our baby boys to pieces. All of it should be illegal. Thanks for listening. We're going to read now out loud. Going to practice reading out loud because, as I said, over half of Americans can only read at a grade 6 level. Let that sink in. They can read, but they cannot understand what they're saying, or they can't even read the words. It is absolutely essential, all of you parents out there, that you read to your children. You have them beside you, you have them follow along with their finger, and they read part of the sentence too. And when they're older, they should read out loud to you. For years and years and years, you must read to your children if you want them to be intelligent and to use their critical thinking skills. It has been shown through testing that the children who read out loud and read with their parents are far more advanced than any other children in school. So put away your phones, you parents, put away your cell phones and spend time with your children. Read with them. Now, speaking of that, let's read this out loud together. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. Reason number 3, it is non-consensual because a baby cannot say yes, nor can a baby say no, which means that no true consent is ever given. No true consent is ever given, just like animals cannot consent to being cut up into pieces. Let me see if I have anyone here. I have my little baby chick that I showed you before. Here is a little cow. Baby cows do not consent to be kidnapped away from their mothers. Baby cows have a right to stay with their mothers. The baby cow's milk doesn't belong to you. The baby cow's milk belongs to the baby cow. Don't take away things that don't belong to you. Once again, circumcision is child abuse. Don't take away the foreskin of a baby. It doesn't belong to you. It belongs to the baby. And when he is 18, if for some reason he doesn't want this skin, well, he can just have it cut off on his own. But your child makes that decision when he's an adult. You don't get to pin him down and do this to him. Let's continue reading, but first let me see if I can see anything. Somebody says they have a question. If you have a question, put it in a super chat so I will see it. All right. Somebody wrote, eat blueberries. Awesome. Yes. Why not talk about the foods that vegans should eat? Exactly. Write down in the comments section, don't exploit anyone. Write down in the comments, vegans don't steal body parts from animals. Once again, we are also animals. We are mammals. Nobody should be stealing the body parts that belong to babies. Let's go again here. So we're reading reason 3. It is non-consensual because a baby cannot say yes, nor can a baby say no, which means that no true consent is ever given. We teach children that their bodies are their own, but then we take away part of their genitals before they can even speak. Think about that. How on earth is this legal? That's a betrayal of basic human rights. If it's not your body, it's not your choice. If it's not your body, it's not your choice. Let's read the blue part now, out loud, everyone together. Practice reading. Just as it's wrong to pin down baby boys to cut them without consent, it's also wrong to pin down animals and cut them. Being vegan means not exploiting anyone. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. That was reason number 3. Look at this cute little baby. Who in their right mind would pin down a baby, take off his diaper, strap him to a Velcro plastic container, which is how I saw it being done as a nurse, Velcro here, Velcro here, Velcro on the feet, and then somebody comes at him with a scalpel? Shame on all of you guys. Guys, we need to stand up and defend the innocent. These little boys cannot defend themselves. And then we wonder why so many crimes in the world are being initiated, being started by boys. Why is that? So many boys end up being criminals. Well, because they were sexually assaulted when they were just little babies. At least that's part of the reason. How can it not be? Let's keep going. Reason number 4. Okay, hold on. Let me just read something here. All right. So the person who is writing down meatballs, thank you. You just forgot to put the word vegan in front of that. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put you in a timeout for 5 minutes. So you can come back and you can rewrite your comment with the word vegan in front of it. Okay. Maybe you just forgot. All right, let's go over here to the next person here. Oh, and this person said that they want to shut up. So listen, floor tiles, if you want to shut up, it's a very easy way to do that. So I can help you since you're having a hard time. I'll put you in a timeout as well. I'll put you in a timeout for 10 minutes, okay? That way you can shut up. Okay, you can come back when you're ready to say something nice or just leave the live stream, okay? If you don't want to be here to learn If you're too uncaring, you just don't have a heart, that's okay. You can leave. All right, let's go over here. Next one. Somebody writes, eat broccoli. Daniel's here. Daniel, thank you very much for writing down eat broccoli. I appreciate you. I just noticed you here. That's great. What else do we have? Somebody says eat quinoa. Oh, it's Daniel again. Yes, Daniel. Guys, tap on the screen and don't forget to press the like button here. What else do we have here? We have the real Shaku who's writing, do you support abortion? Well, today, we're going to be talking about abortion on another day, but today we are talking about this. This is the subject today. All right, let's read number 4 now. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. Reason number 4. Let's read it out loud together, okay, everyone? This kind of physical attack would be illegal if it was done to girls. Here's the hypocrisy. Many countries, including the US and Canada, female genital cutting is illegal. No matter how small or symbolic, even a tiny nick is considered abuse. And that, of course, makes sense. Pinning down a girl and cutting her down there is abusive. No matter how tiny the cut, it's fucked up. And it is sexual assault. So how is it then that we let this happen to boys? How does this make any logical sense? Do you see how crazy our society is? Our society has completely lost their minds. They cannot even think straight. They will say one thing, they will pet cats and pet dogs and pay people to stab pigs and chickens and cows. And then they do the same kind of mentality when it comes to the boys. You boys should be outraged. There's 348 of you guys here right now on my YouTube channel watching. You should be outraged, and you should join that group called Bloodstained Men on Facebook. Go and open another tab right now and look at it. Bloodstained Men and their friends. And what they do is they travel the country. They wear a white shirt and white pants, and they have red paint right in front of their genital area. And they hold up these huge signs speaking out against this barbaric procedure. These are grown men who wish it had never happened to them when they were younger. And did you know that there's actually a way to grow back your foreskin if you want it back? There's a procedure that you can do, but we can talk about that later. Let's go back to this card number 4. We were here. In many countries, including the US and Canada, female genital cutting is illegal, no matter how small or symbolic. Even a tiny nick is considered abuse, but somehow slicing off part of a baby boy's genitals is normal? This is a double standard, rooted in cultural habits, not logic or ethics. Abuse is abuse, no matter the gender. Abuse is abuse no matter the gender and no matter the species. If we are taking baby cows away from their mothers and killing them so that we can steal their milk, that's abusive. If we are taking baby boys who are human, and remember, we're all animals, there are just human animals and non-human animals, this is also abusive. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. If you have anything to say and you absolutely want me to read your comment, put a super chat in and I'll really try to read it out loud. Somebody wrote here, plants don't feel pain. Thank you for your logical response here. That's great. Very good. Now somebody here named Bianca, I'm sure she's probably a child, needs to be put in timeout because she is writing nonsense that has nothing to do with the topic. Okay, Bianca, you've been put in timeout. Let's keep reading. Just as it's wrong to pin down baby boys to cut them without consent, it's also wrong to pin down animals and cut them. Being vegan means not exploiting anyone. All right, so far, If you're just joining us, I'm Miss Katie, That Vegan Teacher. I'm trained as a registered nurse, and at the beginning of the live stream, I was explaining what I saw when I was a nursing student. I saw a boy, a little baby newborn, being circumcised, and it was absolutely clear to me that this was sexual assault. It was child abuse. There is no other way to name it. The fact that this is still legal is beyond comprehension. And I've decided that since this was one of the issues I used to talk about a lot, that I'm going to talk about it again. I'm going to incorporate that once more because the society doesn't seem to have changed. Every single one of your religions should be speaking out against this. If you think that your religion or your God wants you to do this to baby boys, then it's time for you to find a new religion. It is time for you to find a new God. And by the way, when the rabbis do this in their synagogues, sometimes they give the baby a little bit of wine first. Like now we're giving babies alcohol? This is messed up. And if the baby is bleeding when this happens, sometimes the rabbis lick it to make the bleeding stop. This is how fucked up our society is. This is how backwards our society is. And this is why this live stream right now is really being suppressed by YouTube, because they don't want you to know the truth. But I'm here to tell the truth. Whether there's 5 of you here or 500, doesn't matter to me. Let's continue. We are now on reason number 5. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. Let's read together. Circumcision scars for life, not just physically, but emotionally too. Some boys grow up and realize what was taken from them without their permission and live with anger and confusion and trauma. This is what happens to these boys. They grow up and then they want to sue their parents because their parents took away a part of their body without consent. Again, this would be like your parents deciding, you know what? We don't really like our baby's earlobes, so we're going to pay a doctor to cut them off. You all know that that sounds insane, right? So why is it that you are not all speaking out against this? This is a body part that belonged to the baby, and the baby has a right to keep his foreskin. Forced circumcision is barbaric genital mutilation. It's the amputation of healthy, sensitive genital tissue from a child who cannot resist or escape. It should be illegal. Let's go now to card number 5. Well, we were still reading card number 5. Let's continue. Nerve endings last forever. Protective skin is lost forever. So the nerve endings, when the body part is removed, when this is stolen from a baby, when they take away all of this skin, which extremely painful, they scrape it away because it doesn't just retract easily. Once again, it's like taking your baby's fingernail and shoving a scalpel down there and cutting off underneath it and ripping it off. I have no words. This is why I haven't talked about it enough, because it is so messed up what we do to the society, to our babies, to our animals. But if I don't speak out about it, well, who will? So hopefully you guys will start to speak out about this too. Somebody writes here, I don't agree, but I understand why people are offended. Don't agree with it, but I see why it hurts people. My opinion on circumcision, I disagree, but I get it. What do you mean you disagree? You mean this person here, official cyber, you're saying that you agree that it's okay to pin down a baby and cut off part of their body? So you're saying that it would have been fine for you if you were a baby and your parents came up and just paid a doctor to cut off your earlobes, right? Just take a knife, take some scissors there, just cut them off because, hey, maybe your parents didn't like the way that they looked. Is that right? Maybe they're also going to cut off the boy's nipples next. You know, I mean, they're useless, right? This is what you guys claim. You're saying that you think that this body part is useless. It's not useless. But I'll tell you what is useless. A man's nipples. That's pretty useless. Now imagine if people pinned down their babies and cut them off. You would all be freaking out. And you should be. Let's continue the lesson. Nerve endings are lost forever. Protective skin is lost forever. Trust in adults, lost forever. Trust in your mom and dad is lost forever. Trust in adults. This baby just born, about to be tied up, his arms pinned down, his legs, and then they are going to circumcise him. This should be illegal. There is no right way to do the wrong thing. There's no such thing as a minor genital surgery on a healthy baby. Let's continue to read. Just as it's wrong to pin down baby boys to cut them without consent, it's also wrong to pin down animals and cut them. Being vegan means Being vegan means not exploiting anyone. Being vegan means not exploiting babies. Being vegan means not exploiting animals. And that includes frogs. Some people breed frogs in these gigantic tanks. They are so crammed together that they have absolutely no life whatsoever. Just one beside the other, just sort of climbing all over each other. They don't know what to do. And then people take them and they cut off their legs and they eat them. Doesn't that seem strange to you? When people can eat lentils and beans and chickpeas and mashed potatoes and peanut butter toast, they can eat pasta, rice, spicy chili, but no. Some people breed frogs for an entire lifetime of hell, and then they eat their legs. I'm not okay with it. Let's continue. We're now on card number 6. Let's read together, everyone. Thank you again for the person who put the super chat in. 2 of you did, I think. Thank you very much. If you want me to read your comment out loud, put a super chat in. It will be on the screen and it will stay there for a little while for me to see. Let's continue to read. Reading out loud, everybody together. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. Reason 6. Religion or culture is no excuse to harm anyone. No religion or tradition or belief system should have the power to cut into a child's body. We would never allow someone to burn, hit, or cut a child in the name of religion. So why is this one form of violence still tolerated? So if somebody said, well, it's my religion to burn my child, you would all say, that's fucked up, that's not okay. So why is it okay in the name of religion to do this to a baby? Why is that? We all know it's wrong. It should stop. Let's keep going. So as we just read, we would never allow someone to burn, hit, or cut a child in the name of religion. So why is this one form of violence still tolerated? Freedom of religion ends where another human's body begins. And freedom of religion ends where any kind of harm begins. If you think it's in your religion to cut the wings or the head off of a chicken, then you need a new religion and we need to change society. Now, I'm not talking about people who live way up north and have no access to a grocery store and they have nothing else to eat. That's different. Talking about you guys who live near a grocery store, you have a moral responsibility to be vegan. Just as it's wrong to pin down baby boys to cut them without consent, it's also wrong to pin down animals and cut them. Being vegan means not exploiting anyone. Let's continue now. For those of you just joining, we are talking about the subject of circumcision and how it is child abuse and should be illegal. I am recommending that you join a group or go onto Facebook in a tab if you want to right now to something called Blood-Stained Men and Their Friends. These are men who have had this procedure done to them and are speaking out. And they are trying to tell you that it should be illegal. They think that people who do this, doctors who do this, should be arrested and put in jail. And I agree with that. All right. Hold on a second here. Somebody is writing something that they think it's not their business to be here. Well, you're right. It isn't your business if you don't want to be here. So let me put you in a timeout, okay? If you don't want this to be part of your business, let me help you to leave. So you have a 24-hour timeout. Bye. Don't come back. All right, let's look here. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. Reason 7. Circumcision is not a parenting decision. It's a human rights violation. Every child, no matter their gender, race, or religion, deserves the right to grow up with their whole body intact. With their whole body intact. We have no right to pin down newborn babies and do this to them in the name of religion or any other reason. If you're a dad and you're about to have a boy, you have no right to do this to your child, to hand your child over to a doctor who will cut your son. Your son may come back one day and sue you. That goes for you mothers as well. Do the right thing. Leave your baby alone. When he is 18 years old, if he doesn't want this part of his body, he will go and make sure it gets removed on his own. Just like if he doesn't like his earlobes or his hair or whatever else. That's up to the person when they're an adult. Let's keep going. Every child, no matter their gender, race, or religion, deserves the right to grow up with their whole body intact. It's time to protect baby boys the same way we protect girls. It's time for forced infant circumcision to be illegal. Let children decide for themselves when they're old enough to understand, to consent, and to choose. Just as it's wrong to pin down baby boys to cut them without consent, it's also wrong to pin down animals and cut them. Being vegan means not exploiting or hurting anyone. If you're just joining us, we have just gone over these cards here. We've just talked about circumcision and how it should be illegal. We started off with card number 1. You can take a screenshot of this if you want. Circumcision is genital mutilation. It's the amputation of healthy, sensitive genital tissue from a child who cannot resist or escape. If this was done to any other body part, we'd call it what it is, child abuse. This is why more and more boys are growing up to sue their parents and doctors for having done this barbaric thing to them. Then we read number 2. The foreskin has purpose just like eyelids and fingertips. It protects, lubricates, and enhances pleasure later in life. Cutting off a baby's foreskin without medical need is violence. Anyone who pays for or participates in doing this should be sent to prison. Remember to join a group called Blood-Stained Men. If you are a victim of this crime and you want some help, they will help you. If you want help to grow back your foreskin, there are ways that they will help you to do that. If you wish it had never been cut off before, there are ways. Make sure you share this live stream with every boy that you know, every future father that you know, and every religious person who is in a religion that thinks it's okay. It is not okay. We read number 3. It is non-consensual because a baby cannot say yes, nor can a baby say no, which means that no true consent is ever given. We teach children that their bodies are their own, but when we take away part of their genitals before they can even speak, but then we do that before they can even speak. That's a betrayal of basic human rights. If it's not your body, it's not your choice. Right? We did number one, we read number 2, we read number 3, cards number 3. Thanks a lot for everybody who's been here and participating. I'm sorry I didn't get to read your comments out loud because sometimes it goes a little bit too fast. This person, Lydia, you're talking about babies can heal in 1 to 2 days, adults can take 6 weeks. You are missing the point entirely. Lydia, we have no right to remove the body part of a baby without the baby's consent. Just like you wouldn't want anybody to cut off your clit or to sew up your vagina. You wouldn't want that done, Lydia. So you need to stop advocating for this to be done to others. You need to speak out in defense of the victims. I'm going to ban you from this channel because you seem to be advocating for violence and it's not okay. Let's go to the next person. Somebody says that they think it's the parents' choice to abuse their child. Really? So you think the parents have a right to pin down their baby boys and, let's say, cut off their nipples? Is that what you think? Do you think it would be okay for parents to pin down their babies and to cut off their earlobes if they don't like them in the name of religion or because, they just don't like the way they look? You see how you are morally inconsistent? Because you know that you would never want that. Circumcision is child abuse and should be illegal. All right, guys, if you want to see the other reasons that we gave, let me just see if I can find it. We read number 4, the reason. Number 4 says, this kind of physical attack would be illegal if it was done to girls. Here's the hypocrisy. In many countries, including the US and Canada, female genital mutilation, cutting is illegal, no matter how small or symbolic. Even a tiny nick is considered abusive. But somehow, slicing off part of a baby's genitals is normal. This is a double standard rooting in cultural habits, not logic or ethics. Abuse is abuse, no matter the gender. Just as it's wrong to pin down baby boys to cut them without consent, it's also wrong to pin down animals and cut them. Being vegan means not exploiting anyone. Thank you to my moderators, by the way. You are doing a really good job. Somebody I saw just read that I am comparing humans to animals, but we are animals. We are mammals. And hurting any of us, hurting baby animals, hurting baby humans is all wrong. And all of the animals that you eat were murdered at a very young age. Reason number 5, circumcision scars for life, not just physically, but emotionally too. Some boys grow up and realize what was taken from them without their permission and live with anger, confusion, or trauma. Nerve endings are lost forever. Protective skin is lost forever. Trust in adults is lost forever. There's no such thing as a minor genital surgery on a healthy baby. Guys, our live stream is almost over. If there's something absolutely that you wanted me to read, please put a super chat in the comments here and I will read it. Let's continue on here. Reason number 6. Hold on a second. I just want to see something. Somebody's here named Official Cyber Stan writes, I believe circumcision without consent is not right. Somebody writes, I was circumcised as a baby. I didn't have a choice. I think people should be able to decide what happens to their own body when they're older. I think you're absolutely right. And I've just pinned your comment because I think it is a really appropriate one, a good one. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and to use the same logic when you are eating animals. If you think that it was wrong that your parents did this to you, then don't do it to innocent animals. Do not cut them to pieces either. You see? You have to be logically consistent. and morally consistent. What else do we have here? Somebody's named That One Pickle writes, I am in a room with my boyfriend, and it happens to his cousin when he was 7 and my boyfriend 18, and his cousin said it hurt, but it's okay now. And we are glad. What do you mean you're glad? How can you be glad that this was done to somebody? It is not okay to do this to anybody. It is okay to do it to yourself. It is not okay. You know that there are people who pin down baby girls and sexually assault them. If they don't remember, it doesn't make it right. If a baby boy does not remember the pain, it doesn't make it right. And it is in everybody's natural instinct when something is done like this to them to be so stunned, so shocked that they have a hard time speaking about it, because it would mean acknowledging that their parents abused them. And that's a really hard thing to face, but it's the truth. Reason number 6. Religion or culture is no excuse to harm anyone. No religion, tradition, or belief system should have the power to cut into a child's body. We would never allow someone to burn, hit, or cut a child in the name of religion. So why is this one form of violence still tolerated? Why is this one form of violence still tolerated? Freedom of religion ends where another human's body begins, or an animal's body. Freedom of religion should end if you are planning to exploit or hurt anyone. The last one we went over, and I noticed that we're over time now, so I'm just going to sum this up. Unless there's something specific that you want to ask me, you put a super chat in. If you support my work here, if you think that this work has value, then I appreciate hearing from you. And thank you to everybody who's been so kind and morally consistent and vegan. This is good here. Somebody writes, eat plants, don't eat animals. Good job. Thank you. Somebody's asking my opinion on being vegetarian. Vegetarians are cruel people because they still exploit animals. They still pay for the rape, torture, and murder in the egg industry, in the dairy industry and the egg industry. This is why it is not okay to be vegetarian. You must be vegan and not drink cow's milk. Do not drink cow's milk. Do not eat cheese. Do not eat yogurt. Do not contribute to the cycle of violence. Be vegan from now on. The last one, reason number 7 that we just read, is circumcision is not a parenting decision. It's a human rights violation. Every child, no matter their gender, race, or religion, deserves a right to grow up with their whole body intact. It's time to protect boys the same way we protect girls. It's time for forced infant circumcision to be illegal. Let children decide for themselves when they're old enough to understand, to consent, and to choose. Just as it's wrong to pin down baby boys, to cut them without consent, it's also wrong to pin down animals and cut them. Being vegan means not exploiting anyone. Thank you for coming to class today. That's it for our class. Our hour is over. I hope you learned everything that you need to know about circumcision. We went over all of these cards. Thank you very much to everybody who knows that circumcision is wrong and who will help defend the victims from now on. Don't forget to join a group called Bloodstained Men and Their Friends over on Facebook. You can also find them on the internet, Bloodstained Men. If you need help, if you are feeling upset or sad that this has happened to you, they will help you. Thank you very much for coming. I'll see you guys all in the next live stream. Bye for now, everyone.